Hi, my name is Steffen Mirsky, and I'm the Evaluation Manager at Seed Savers Exchange. I am going to talk to you about pruning and trellising tomatoes today. So here we have a large beefsteak tomato variety called Italian Heirloom, and we're growing this for evaluation on the farm. So that means we're growing it for documentation, and we want to see how it performs and see what the growth habit of the variety is, and just how it does in our region. So the way we're growing this variety here is one method we use, and this is using a cattle panel trellis. So here you can see this metal panel, and it's 8 feet long, and we put up 2 T-posts and tie the panel to the T-posts using these what we call chain ties. So these are reusable plastic ties that you can cinch the panel to the T-post with. We do one on top and one on bottom. And we transplant our tomatoes right at the bottom of the cattle panel. So we do 6 plants for an 8-foot long panel. And we actually haven't done a lot of pruning on this tomato variety because we're growing it for evaluation and we want to see its natural growth habit. But if you're growing it for production, you would want to do a lot more pruning than what we've done. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you how to prune. And there's a lot of different methods. It really depends on how you're growing your tomatoes, which method of pruning you decide to do. So just basics about pruning. You don't want to prune when the leaves are wet. So avoid doing it in the early morning if there's dew on the leaves. That can really promote the spread of diseases. Benefits of pruning are that you'll get earlier ripening of fruit. You'll also get bigger fruit, and it also reduces the amount of leafy plant material. So that'll cut down on your foliar diseases because you'll have better air circulation. So now I'll show you how to do some basic pruning. So the general idea is that you want to take your suckers off your tomatoes. So your tomato plants have a main stem, which you can see here. And then coming off the main stem are what you call suckers or side shoots. And this is an example of a sucker coming off of the main stem. And your suckers always form between a leaf and the main stem, so right in the axil there. And if you allow this sucker to grow, it will become a main stem as well, and it will compete with your other stems. And basically you'll just get a very big bushy tomato plant that will be a little bit unruly and hard to trellis. So it's a good idea to take off these suckers, and in general you want to leave anywhere between 1 to 4 main stems depending on what your trellising method is. So if the suckers are really small, you can usually just snap them off with your fingers. If they're a little bigger, like this one, they may be a little too fibrous and won't snap off cleanly, so you can use your pruners and just cut them at the base like that. So you want to do this about once every week or once every 2 weeks. These suckers will continue to grow as your plants grow vertically, and in order to maintain anywhere between 1 to 4 main stems on your plant, you're going to have to prune off these suckers about one to every 2 weeks. So after you've done your pruning, you want to trellis your plant, and I'll show you how we trellis our tomatoes here on the farm. So when we grow our tomatoes on cattle panels like this, which is probably the most common way we do it here, we use this baling twine. It's polypropylene baling twine, and basically we tie tie the end off onto the end of the panel, or you can tie it off on the T-post. And then you run a length of your twine. Just estimate the length that you need, and cut it off. And we basically weave the twine around the stems of the plant and through the panel to hold the stems upright. So I like to go underneath leaves so that the twine supports the plant. And I'll continue to do this and go weave into the panel. And you want to do this as the plant grows vertically, about once every 2 weeks at most, or when you start to notice that the stems on the plant are starting to fall over and need some more support. So as you can see, we've done this before. There are a few layers there already, and each layer is about 12 inches or so higher up than the next one. So when you come to the end of your panel, you just tie it off again. And then that'll give your stems good support. And you'll actually want to do the same thing on the other side of the panel, because you will get stems that will grow through the trellis on the other side, and those need to be supported too. So that's basically how we prune and trellis our tomatoes here. We're gonna go up to another garden in just a minute, and we'll show you a different method of pruning and trellising that we do here on the farm. Hi, I'm back with you in a different garden to show you a different way that we trellis tomatoes. So here we have our tomatoes planted in black plastic, where we've just punched holes and planted them every 1.5 feet. And you can see here that we have pounded a T-post every 4 plants, I believe it is, going all the way down the row. And we don't have cattle panels tied in between them. So some people call this method of trellising a basket weave method, but basically it's similar to what we did before. You tie off your twine onto the T-post here, and then you run it along the one side of your tomato plants, supporting the stems as you go. So you kind of tuck it underneath the leaves. And again, I'm doing this about 8 to 12 inches above the previous layer. And when you get to the next T-post, pull on your twine so that it's taut and it's holding these tomato stems upright. And what you do is you wrap it around the T-post a couple of times to hold that tension. And then you keep going down the line. You do the same thing with the next variety. Some of the stems have fallen over, so you try to pick those up and lift those up. Wrap it around your T-post a couple of times to hold that tension. And you carry on all the way down the row like this. And when you get to the end of the row, you tie off the end of your twine on the last T-post. And then you have to do the other side as well to hold those stems upright on the other side. So this is just another method that we use on the farm. And it's a really quick method of trellising your tomatoes, and it's equally effective. It's just a matter of personal preference, really. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you got something out of it.